I studied 1,000 landing pages and almost all of them make a few common mistakes that made them bleed money. You see, I've done audits for hundreds of businesses, and after tracking the data from over 1,000 landing pages, I've noticed patterns that reveal the hidden conversion killers that are destroying businesses' sales without them even knowing it. These are not small issues either. I'm talking about mistakes that could be costing you hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars in lost revenue. So in this video, I'll be exposing 3 landing pages that are perfect real-life examples of these conversion-destroying mistakes. I'll break down exactly where they went wrong, and then I'll show you exactly how you can transform your broken landing pages into sales-making machines. We're going to be going through 3 main types or categories of pages. The first one is a B2B or service-based or lead gen page, where basically the main goal is to get leads, book calls, demos, basically contact form submissions. The second example we're going to walk through is an e-commerce company where the main goals are purchases, average order value, revenue per visitor. And the final example is anyone selling a digital product or course or certificate or workshop where you're trying to get people to buy a low ticket or high ticket program. So there's going to be a lot of overlap between these 3 different types of pages. So don't skip anything. There's a lot of golden nuggets from start to end. Take a pen and paper and let's start taking some notes. Okay, so our first example here is going to be a general lead gen page where our goal is to get people to fill out a form. So we're just going to go and search up something like weight loss retreat and see what comes up. Okay, so the first Google ad here, we have the ultimate health retreat, lose 6 to 20 pounds in 2 to 4 weeks. Very, very strong offer, very strong Google ads copy that's really going to entice me to click on this as opposed to these other options, which are a bit more generic, like sustainable weight loss and, extreme weight loss retreat. It's giving me an actual result, lose 6 to 20 pounds in 2 to 4 weeks. So naturally, I'm going to want to click on this page first. So we have this landing page here, and we're going to focus on mobile because that is typically where most traffic is these days. So couple big things we need to note. What I see here immediately upon landing, all of this information up here, this is what we call the above the fold. Now, the above the fold is the only section statistically that 60% of people will never even scroll past. The second thing you need to know about the above the fold is that it is the only section that 100% of your users will see. Now, given how critical the above the fold is, the very first obvious mistake that I see every single day being made is what initially got the click is not congruent with the landing page. If we go back to our Google Ads results here again, lose 6 to 20 pounds in 2 to 4 weeks. When I click on that and I'm taken to this page, I'm given a generic headline, retreat to a new reality, transform your body at the world's #1 adult fat camp. It doesn't have any of that same benefit that initially got me to click in the first place. And I see this across Google Ads, I see this across Meta Ads. It's all the same thing at the end of the day, is whatever you're using in your ad copy, you need to keep that same messaging congruent on the landing page itself. But when I see this above the fold, I don't see anything about that lose X amount of pounds in X amount of weeks. There's no offer here in the above the fold, which again is the most critical area that people are not going to scroll past statistically. The second big issue I see is this navigation menu up here on mobile. My goal is conversions. All I care about is getting people to click on this contact us button. I don't care about anything else. I don't want them to go to other pages. I just want to get them to convert. So why send traffic outside of this page? That's what this navigation is doing. It's basically bleeding traffic to other pages on the site, to the about page, to the explore. I just want to keep people focused here, and I want people to click on the contact us CTA. Now, for the rest of the structure of this page and this above the fold, there's basically an anatomy of a high converting page that we typically follow for any project that we do. And this is how we create pages that convert very, very high. And we've built over 400 plus pages in over 80 plus niches. So this is basically the framework that we follow for any landing page. Inside of this Figma template, you can actually get access to this with the link in the description below. And this is basically a high level framework that we follow for every project, which basically shows you how to lay out the content, how to lay out the sections, and what order should the sections actually be. So again, link in the description below. We're going to be comparing this to all of the pages that we audit. So taking that same landing page that we were just auditing and comparing it against our template, let's see how it compares to our framework. First thing we already discussed is this headline here, retreat to new reality, doesn't really contain that dream outcome or what's in it for me, right? Why do I actually care? Why should I contact you about this retreat. The second thing I noticed with the structure here is this body text. Transform your body at the world's #1 adult fat camp. Again, it's kind of repetitive with the headline or the value prop, and your sub headline, really what this should be doing, the job of the sub headline is to explain how you achieve what it is you just mentioned in your headline. So if our headline says lose X amount of pounds in X amount of weeks, the sub headline should explain how you actually do that, all the unique mechanisms or proprietary manner in which you achieve that. So when we go back to the page here and we scroll down, all of this stuff here about how the program works, step 1 to 8, all of the different aspects of the program, that should all be articulated in this sub headline over here. The next big thing I notice is the contact us button. So it is prominent, it stands out on the page, which is the main action we want people to take, but it's kind of a weak offer. Contact us, very overdone these days. Instead of contact us, what I would want to see is gain muscle fast or lose fat fast. Whatever that main action is that will really entice people to click and get more leads and get more people to convert, we want that present in the CTA button. So I think we can make this a lot more benefit driven. The next thing you'll notice on our template is reducing friction and FUDs. So FUD stands for fear, uncertainty, doubts. And we want to reduce this as much as possible near the critical point of action, which is near the call to action button. Now, there's no reduction of FUDs. Just think about it. When people go on a page, they're very uncertain. They have a lot of skepticism. This is going to typically be things like money back guarantees, any sort of free trials, anything to kind of reduce fear and uncertainty around reaching out. The next thing on our list is an image or video that helps to reinforce your core value prop. So when we look at this image here, there's nothing really showing me the transformation. Like, it doesn't really help reinforce that value prop of losing weight in X amount of weeks or feeling stronger, feeling more confident. If that's our value prop, we want to relate the image to that value prop. So what I would want to see here is an image of some sort of transformation. In fact, if you go look at the page itself, there's all these images of people losing weight, kind of seeing the transformation. Like, for example, here, this would be a lot more impactful image to have above the fold that again helps to reinforce the value prop instead of just showing off what the retreat looks like, which is kind of generic and doesn't really grab my attention immediately. The final thing when you look at our template is we have 2 forms of social proof. So social proof are things like reviews, testimonials, featured publications. So we have one at the top and one at the bottom over there. You can see in this example, we have the social proof up here, but we only have one example, which is the featured on logos. In my opinion, these are very overdone nowadays. Everyone does as seen on. If you wanted to use the logos, what would be a lot more impactful is actually having a quote from Dr. Phil, for example, and what did they actually say about your program on Dr. Phil? I would add that quote underneath the logo. And then in addition to that, we want to add another form of social proof. Why do we add 2 forms? We just typically find that it converts a lot better and helps to really build trust in that critical section where we tend to lose a lot of people statistically. So we always go with 2 forms of social proof. Just trust me on this. We've A/B tested this a lot. So what I would do is when I look at the desktop version of this page, we have these testimonials here. Beautiful testimonial. I think this is going to be a lot more impactful, and actually putting this on the mobile version above the fold will be a huge game changer. So combining that with the quotes of the logos, I think those 2 things combined will go a long way forward. So here's another example, lead gen page. This person is running meta ads and they're presumably not converting very well because their page is not very optimized. So this is the meta ad itself, less hair than yesterday. So it's a hair loss offer. We offer scientific painless analysis tailored to you. So when we click on this ad and we go to the page, and again, we're going to focus on mobile, I'm noticing a lot of the same issues. But the reason I picked this example is because it's better than the other example, quote unquote, because they're trying to follow best practices, but it's actually not doing it in the right manner. So again, when we dissect this, stop hair loss without surgery, you're explaining who you are, what you do, which is stopping hair loss, but it's not really communicating that benefit. Like, what is that deep emotional outcome that I really care about, right? Feeling more confident when I look in the mirror. We want to articulate that hard hitting benefit in the headline. The body text here, it's just way too long. Like, there's 8 different lines of text here. This could all just be consolidated consolidate it down to 2 to 3 sentences max. And the issue with this is it's pushing down all of the information beneath the fold, which again, we spoke about how this is the most critical section. When you actually read the body copy itself, it's not very communicative of how they help stop hair loss. And then when you look at the testimonial here, pretty generic. It's just kind of implementing best practices for the sake of implementing it. And the point I'm trying to get across here is, yes, you want to implement best practices, but they actually need to be impactful. The final thing, the image or video is missing here, just like before. And there's two competing offers here. We have schedule your free hair analysis, and we also have click here to get your free guide. So we'll just cut this down, make it to one core action. So I'm going to show you how I would actually redesign this page together in live time. You can do this for your own page. Super simple, is basically take all of the copy from your page or your website, and we're going to go to ChatGPT and paste all of this information in and just tell it, do not do anything yet. So now we're going to take our landing page prompts. I'm going to put a link in the description below for this, where you can actually write high converting copy in a matter of seconds just using AI, which is probably going to be a lot better than what you have now. So we're going to take the headline hero section copy here and copy this and put it into ChatGPT. Okay, so right off the bat, much better copy. Regain full confident hair in just 12 weeks using our personalized trichology method, clinically proven results. To take it a step further, we're going to throw in our follow-up prompt here and just put it into GPT again, which is going to further refine the copy. Now we have the emotional benefit that I was talking about before. Look younger and more attractive in 90 days using Swiss approved hair analysis and personalized therapy. So really benefit driven now, and a lot better than what we had before. Now for the sub headline, we want to explain the pain point followed by what is our actual solution. So I'm going to take our sub headline copy over here, or our prompt rather, and throw it into GPT, and it's going to give us some examples of subheadlines. Okay, there we go. Tired of seeing thinning hair in the mirror? We are the only personalized trichology system that combines clinical hair analysis, laser therapy, and plant-based actives to guarantee fuller, stronger, and healthier hair within 12 weeks. We've taken it a step further to explain how we do what it is we do in the headline. How do we stop hair loss? So I'm going to create the rest of the above the fold, and I'm going to report back once it's done. Okay, so here's our redesigned above the fold. We have that social proof right at the very top, where we have the rated 5 out of 5, 800 plus reviews. That's social proof number 1. We have that benefit driven headline, get thicker, healthier hair in 12 weeks and feel confident looking in the mirror again. A lot more impactful than just this. Subheadline, we have that value prop highlighting what allows us to achieve the results in the headline. The CTA button over here, a lot more benefit driven, get thicker hair now, way better than just schedule your free hair analysis. We then have the 60-day money back guarantee, and we're highlighting the no surgery or pills. So this is reducing fear and uncertainty around reaching out. And the final thing here is we have our social proof, which is the 100% success rate, 12.8 thousand men helped, and 25 plus years in business. Again, this is just all placeholder, all made up data, but we have two forms of social proof, one up here and one over here. Okay, so now let's scroll down throughout the rest of the page and kind of dissect the structure relative to our high converting page framework. So the first thing I see here is talk to us if, and they're kind of listing out all of these different pain points or things that people commonly notice associated with hair loss. So it's the right idea here for meta ads. Typically it's going to be colder traffic, so people don't really know about your company or your offer at all. So you want to introduce that pain point in this top area, which if you look at our landing page framework is the exact same. We have the hero section up here, and then the pain point is right over here. But the main issue with this copy over here is we're just explaining the pain point. But if you look at our page framework, we also need to tie in the unique benefit. So again, going in our landing page prompt framework, we're going to copy this copy over here, which is the prompt for pain point section. And it's using something called the PAS framework, problem, agitate, solve, where you explain the problem, you kind of turn up the heat, and then you show how you solve that problem. So we're going to throw it into ChatGPT and see what it gives us. Okay, so really good on the first attempt. See how we're basically taking people through a story of like pain point. This is the pain point that you're feeling, but we're actually tying in our solution. It's a way stronger approach. Now, as I go throughout the rest of the page, what I'm noticing is a very common mistake which is the headlines should communicate the benefit in the headline itself. So just take a look at this headline here. Analysis first, then focus on doing the right thing. No idea what this means. Very vague, very generic. Ready for your first step? Sure, I'm ready, but why should I be ready? Like, give me a reason why I should actually fill out the form, right? So the framework you want to operate under is that imagine somebody doesn't even read the body text on your site. Imagine no one even reads this copy over here. They just read the headline alone, because statistically, people only read 20% of the content on your site. The other 80%, they just scan. The other big issue with this page that I see every time is there's no consistent call to action button. So as I go throughout this page, there's no call to actions outside of the one at the bottom that says schedule your free hair analysis. But when you look at our landing page framework over here, you can see how we have multiple call to action buttons throughout every critical section. You can see how many times we repeat it. And it seems very trivial or seems very basic, but the more buttons you introduce, the more likely someone is to convert. The next big issue is a lack of value prop sections. So when I go throughout this page, there's kind of success stories, stop the shedding. Like, there's nothing really talking about the process or how it works. So this is what we call the value prop sections, where you can see on our template, right? We have value prop number 1, value prop number 2, value prop number 3. The final big issue with this page is the calendar form here. So for Facebook ads or for Google ads, we typically don't want to add too much friction up front. So when you ask somebody to book a call, you're kind of adding a lot of friction up front. What we typically prefer to do is to collect simple information first via the form of a form. The other big thing with this site is, like, when I get to the bottom of the page, it says want to know more, schedule your free hair analysis. It's not enough of an incentive. We actually call this section the closer section, which looks something like this. So at the very bottom of the page, we have this closer section, which is almost like a mini above the fold. Final recap, why should people take action today? I give people that one final reason, 3 value props, CTA button, reduce FUDs, an image or video, or a form. This is an example of how to do it, right? Where we're basically following that FIGMA template for our physical therapy client. So the second type of page now is anyone kind of selling a digital product or certificate or course. The main difference with a digital product or course is kind of a mindset shift on the offer. So the big issue I find when I'm auditing people's sites and going through landing pages is it comes across as very transactional. There's no clear offer or reason as to why I should actually enroll in the certificate. So you can see it says dual health and life coach certificate above the fold, no benefit, no value prop whatsoever. It simply has like the format, online, self-paced, duration, 5 months, 3 to 5 hours per week. It's all just transactional. It's all just explaining what the program is. But what I want you to think about when you're creating your landing page for your course is, what is that transformational benefit? Like, because I'm becoming a life coach, presumably I'm going to get an in-demand job or in-demand career will last me for life. That's what I care about as the end user. And that's what we want to communicate and articulate. This is another example here for our videography client. So their old page kind of fell into the similar trap, just simply transactional. So when we look at the after version that we designed for them, we went from digital imaging technician course, which is what they do, to end outcome, what people care about: land 6-figure DIT gigs, travel the world on global sets, and connect with high profile creatives and elites. Now, the second big mistake with any sort of digital product page that I see is you want to position the offer, right, what people are getting, as almost like a no-brainer. So when I look at this, who's this program for and what you'll get, just kind of a laundry list of like items of what I'll get. But again, I'm going to be paying a one-time payment of $6,750. I want to make it seem as if that amount I'm paying is almost like a no-brainer, like I'm getting so much value out of this payment, whether it's high ticket, whether it's low ticket, doesn't matter. So for example, this is a course, right? So we're saying all you need is in one course to find work, travel the world, and increase your income. And we're kind of positioning it like these are all of the things you get. There's so many items. You get 4+ hours of content. You get 38 videos, certified course completion. You get all of these different things for just one price. And then we're actually explaining what you get in every module, right? So module 1, learn how a DIT works, right? How to find work, how to bid on projects. And these are all of the things you get in these subunits. Module 2, right? Learn all equipment you need from hard drives, laptops, software, etc., right? These are all the things you get. So we're kind of articulating the offer in a lot more elaborate format. The other big thing that works really well for course pages or digital products is having bonuses and actually articulating the value and how much you're getting for free. Basically over here, we have all of the different dollar amounts of how much each of these bonuses are, but we're including them completely for free, right? So it's kind of stacking the offer. It's saying, get all of this for something that's valued at X amount, but you're getting it for free. So the final category is an e-commerce website or page. And over here, we typically focus on three main things. Number one, we focus on the homepage. The reason we focus on the homepage is because typically for any e-commerce brand we audit, the number one thing that they're under indexed on or underperforming on is people actually viewing their product. The function of the homepage is to get people to the product page, but most people's homepages don't do a great job of that. So when you look over here, it's all the same frameworks that I spoke about, right? No benefit. There's a bit of that in the subcopy where we're talking about we've got the gentle vet-approved support they need so they can get back to being their happy, healthy self, but no one's going to read that. You need to communicate that in the headline first. This image over here, they kind of look under the weather. Like if we're talking about happy, healthy self, these pets don't look happy. If you compare that to PetSmart, where you have actual smiling pets, it creates that emotional connection. So especially for e-commerce, your images are going to be critical. The next big thing I focus on for e-commerce is the navigation menu. So when I look at this navigation, there's nothing inherently exciting about this menu. One thing that we've A/B tested that works really well for any niche is adding icons or images next to your navigation items. Here's an example for our pet client where when you open up their navigation, you can actually see an image of the dog wearing the products, right? The bow tie collar, the best sellers, etc. And funny enough, we saw a 15% lift in conversions because we actually ran this as an A/B test, so they didn't even have this before. The other massive mistake that's killing your sales with e-commerce is having too many navigation items. So in our experience working with high traffic stores and doing lots of A/B testing, anything over 7 items shown at once, we typically tend to see diminishing returns, meaning people get overwhelmed and they get analysis paralysis and they just exit the site altogether. So when you look at this here, there's just too many competing items. There's way too many items here. So now let's move over to product pages. So we're going to click through here and we're going to go to the first product over here. Let's actually compare this to our Figma design. Okay, so the immediate issue right off the bat is we're hiding the images in these little dots. So people either do this mistake or what they do is they'll show like we have 1 out of 5 products, but they don't actually show the thumbnails up front. The next thing is look at the hierarchy of information. We actually start with the reviews first. Just think about it logically, right? Like on any landing page, we always put the reviews as the very first thing people see. So right now, the reviews over here are put underneath the title. I would want to move this one up over here. The next conversion sin is we want to try and fit as much information above the fold as possible for e-commerce or product pages without making people have to scroll, just like for B2B or the other examples we went through. So basically everything up until here where I have this red line, this should all be above the fold. Next big thing is like all of these body text over here, lot to read, lot to digest. I would have digestible icons such as these, where we're just giving people a quick scan of what the unique benefits are in addition to the text, because some people will read only 20%. The other 80% will scan statistically. The next big mistake is the discount here, the $75.95. It's not even prominent on mobile. Like I cannot see the discount amount. Big mistake is making people do math. Just tell me how much I actually save here. The final big mistake under the add to cart is there's no reduction of FUDs, which are fear, uncertainty, doubts. So typically for e-commerce, that's going to be things like money back guarantee, any sort of warranty, free trials, free shipping, all of those different things. The other big thing with e-commerce is bundles. So when I look through these bundle options here, the actual saving amount, we don't want people to do math. So when I look at 2X Solar warmers, the save amount is like so small in comparison. So one thing that we've A/B tested quite a bit is putting the saving amount in the headline itself. So for example, you can see here where we have the 1-pack save 10 euros, 2-pack save 22, and then 3-pack save X. The final big mistake on e-commerce pages that I see is just large blocks of text, like this product information here. No one is going to read this. So what we want to do is take this big block of text that I see on so many e-commerce pages and using our landing page framework, basically dissect this down into digestible value props that are scannable, easy to read, and really using lots of imagery throughout the page. Like you can see, these are all images so that the user will actually consume the content and more likely convert as well. So you just saw me break down 3 landing pages and give some advice on them, so you know exactly what not to do. But now you might be wondering what an ideal landing page should actually look like. Well, if you click here to watch the next one, you can actually watch me build a landing page completely from scratch. The best part is that that video was completely unscripted, and I actually took it on as a bit of a challenge. And you can just copy the process for yourself. See you over there, and good luck.